Hi, today we will be discussing Arrow's impossibility theorem. Arrow's impossibility theorem was introduced by Kenneth Arrow, who is one of the famous American economists who has won Nobel Prize in Economics in the year 1972 along with John Hicks. Arrow's impossibility theorem is one of the prominent contributions of Kenneth Arrow. So in this video we will be having a discussion on Arrow's impossibility theorem. So before going to Arrow's impossibility theorem, we should have a little idea on Arrow's theory of social choice, which he introduced in his famous book Social Choice and Individual Values, published in the year 1951. It is actually from this theory of social choice Arrow comes to his impossibility theorem. As you know, an economy may consist of millions of people. All these people will be having their own different characteristics. So constructing a social welfare function which will be reflecting the preferences of all these individuals will be quite difficult. This is actually the base of Arrow's theory of social choice. So when we put the preferences of all the individuals, each and every individuals in the economy all together, and if you want to make a social decision by comprising the decisions of all the preferences of all the individuals, a democratic procedure will be quite difficult, as I told you, because the characteristics of each and every individual will be entirely different from another one. So these characteristics will make quite difficult for making a social choice which will be based upon the democratic principle. Simply means that we cannot make a social decision which will be satisfying the preferences of all the individuals in the economy. It is based upon the fact that individual ordering will be reflecting only the individuals or one's own taste and preferences, not of the society as a whole. Suppose if I am preferring something out of something, it will be reflecting only my own preferences, not the society's preferences. So, in order to construct a valid social welfare function from individual preferences, Arrow has introduced 5 conditions for social choice. First one is that consistency and transitivity. So we have seen the consistency and transitivity in various microeconomic concepts. So consistency and transitivity simply means that you should be consistent with your decision. For example, if you are given an option, for example 3 baskets A, B, C, and you are choosing from A, B, C, you are choosing basket A from a particular situation, okay, and with the next time if you are given a chance of choosing again from these A, B, C baskets, you are again choosing basket here. This is actually meant by a consistency. You should be consistent with your decision. So this is the first condition of social choice introduced by Arrow. Second condition is that responsiveness to individual preferences. It simply means that social choices should be inconsistent with the preferences of the individual. That means the social choice should be more in the same direction to the individual preferences. The third condition is that the non-imposition. It means that the individual preferences should not be imposed by some external forces. It should not be forced by someone else who is living outside the community. The fourth condition is that the condition of a non-dictatorship. That means that if I am making some decision, if I am making some preferences, it should not be dictated by or forced by someone else in the economy. That is, my preferences should be based upon my own taste and preferences, not by someone else's preferences. Fifth condition is that independence of irrelevant alternatives. It means that if I am making some preferences for a particular choices, if for example if I am given basket A and basket B, I am making the choice for only for that, okay. And if some another condition I have been given a chance of given a baskets of basket D and E, my preferences for that is actually not determined by the first preferences. So according to Arrow, the construction of social preferences should be based upon all these 5 conditions. So here we come to the Arrow's impossibility theorem. According to Arrow, we cannot make a social decision from individual preferences which will be satisfying all these conditions, which is quite impossible. The Arrow's impossibility theorem states that you cannot make a social preferences without violating at least one of these conditions. That means by fully satisfying all these conditions, you cannot make a social preferences. You must be violating at least one among them. So here, in order to construct a social preferences from individual preferences, you will be depending the democratic free voting system. And the final decision will be based upon the majority voting rule. The preferences which has got the highest number of votes will be considered as a social preference. Addo states that even if you are making your social choices through democratic voting, still your decision can go contradictory and inconsistent. That I will tell you with the help of the following table. The table shows there are three individuals, Joseph, George and John, who constitute the society, who voted for three alternative social states X, Y and Z by writing 6 as most preferred alternative, 4 as next preferred and 2 as least preferred. In the table, Joseph prefers X to Y when X and Y are available, and Y to Z when Y and Z are available, and X to Z when X and Z are available. In the case of George, he prefers Y to Z when Y and Z are available. He prefers Z to X when Z and X are available, and he prefers Y to X when Y and X are available. So in the case of the last individual, John, he prefers Z to X when Z and X are available. He prefers X to Y when X and Y are available, and finally he prefers Z to Y when both Z and Y are available. So as I said, there are only 3 individuals are in the economy. When any 2 of individuals' decisions are same, we can call it as majority. Both Joseph and John prefers X to Y when X and Y are available, and both Joseph and George prefers Y to Z when Y and Z are available. George and John prefers Z to X when Z and X are available. So this majority rule leads to inconsistent social decision over here, because on the one hand X has been preferred to Z as per the majority rule, and on the other hand Z is also preferred to X based upon the majority rule. So this will result in a situation where taking a social decision which is based upon the democratic majority voting rule will be quite contradictory and inconsistent. So this is how Professor Addo concludes his impossible theorem that it is quite impossible to make social preferences based upon the individual ordering without violating at least one of the conditions of social choice. So that's all about Addo's impossibility theorem. Hope you got at least some idea regarding the topic. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.